Have you ever looked around your home and felt completely overwhelmed by all of the clutter and chaos? Yeah, you are not alone. Today we're going to tackle three main areas of my home. So my kitchen, my bathroom, and my closet to declutter, reorganize, refresh, set up some functional spaces. I am so excited for the after. Thanks to FSA Store for sponsoring this video. And if you guys are ready for some realistic motivation, girl, like, subscribe, share, hype the video, and let's get started. So as you can see, we are starting with my bathroom, and we're also starting with the smallest mess and working our way to the largest mess. So don't worry, it's going to get a lot worse than this. If you are working with me today on a lot of cleaning and organizing, girl, we have quite the journey to get through together. So first, I'm just showing you guys a before of a lot of the drawers that we're going to be working on, reorganizing, refreshing. Got some organizers here who need a little TLC, and I cannot wait to make this space much more functional. So every day when I'm doing my skincare routine, I'm getting ready in the morning, I have everything at an arm's reach. I know where it is, and the setup is going to make sense. So the first thing we're going to do is just get everything off the vanity, make sure it's nice and clean. That way we have a good workspace to get officially started with. Now, I of course want to share some easy tips and tricks with you guys. I've had this skincare bowl here for a while, but I do want to mix it up and put something new there. So if you have any ideas, definitely let me know. But I really encourage you guys, as you are decluttering, reorganizing, refreshing your spaces, to just give yourself a small change of scenery. I've always been a huge fan of that. I always talk about that in my videos. You don't have to buy something new. It can be something you already have, but if you just rework and reshift all of your areas as you are going through them, it's going to motivate you. And when you wake up the next day, you've got something to look forward to that's a little bit different. I love to have a new setup every once in a while. I love to try something new. And personally, I find it really motivating to maintain a new setup because I want to enjoy it. So think about it like that. I'm just wiping down the surfaces here before I get started with the refreshing in the drawers because I can't work on a dirty surface. So I'm just going top to bottom. I'm going to wipe down the mirrors, the countertops, faucets, sinks, all of that, and then I'll start to go through all the drawers. I almost forgot about this, but I'm going to wipe down all of the cabinet faces before I do the sinks. Sinks for me are always the very last thing I will clean with a towel, and then once a sink has been cleaned, that towel's gotta go in the laundry. So before I did that, I just wanted to scrub these faces, scrub around the handles, scrub the entire thing, get all of the dust off of there. I find myself way more motivated to organize in a very clean space. Obviously, you want it to be clean if you're going to organize. This is the first step to get done. So I'm just gonna scrub these sinks real quick, and then we'll start getting into the first drawer. All right, so I'm going to start with the toothbrush drawer, then I'll go to skincare and then to skincare devices. So we're going to work top to bottom and we're going to do things right, y'all. So we're taking out the organizers, we're wiping down the drawers, and then we're going to wash the organizers. So this one has our toothbrushes in it. It looks a little not very clean. So I was just trying to show you guys a good before because the after is crystal clear, super perfect. I'm going to spray all of these with my solution, soak them in some warm water, wipe wipe them down really well and make sure they're completely dry before we put them back in. I don't want any water in the drawers. I want to make sure they are as protected as possible. So I don't have any liners in these drawers just because they are fully lined with the acrylic organizers. Also, I love to use a rubber pad like this for my toothbrushes. Highly recommend that. I've been doing that for years. You can just buy like a holder for a dish sponge, like a rubber one. That's exactly what that is. And put your toothbrushes on it, and it is going to help maintain the drawer a lot longer. And it's the perfect resting spot for your toothbrushes. So I'm just going to pop back in anything that is not empty. I found so many empties while doing this, and then we can quickly move on to the next drawer. We are moving and grooving, y'all. We are 2/3 of the way done with this center section, so this is where the vast majority of my skincare is going to go. I used to keep some extra skincare under the left sink, but I realized I would forget about it, and things would expire a lot faster. So now I try and keep everything in the center section. That way I can open the drawer, I can do my entire skincare routine start to finish, shut the drawer, and everything is tucked away. So that's why I'm pulling items out of that bowl on the counter, because I just don't want to look at them anymore. I want it to feel super clean, and I don't want to see any products out if I can avoid it. So I organized everything in that center section. I kept the same layout, and if you guys are in need of any organizers, I will link some of my favorites below. I have been filming videos and helping people to reorganize and be really motivated to do it for literally years. So I have tried almost everything. And thank you to FSA Store for sponsoring this video and for sending me these products I picked out to refill my cabinet with some of my favorite health and wellness essentials. I didn't even know these products I love and use regularly were FSA eligible. I know a lot of people aren't sure what to use their FSA funds on, which is why you should check out FSA Store using my link. It's fsastore.com/AlexandraB to see what is eligible. There's pain relieving, massage guns, heat and red light therapy, wearable tech, and more. So many people have these pre-tax funds set aside just waiting to be used. You have a lot more options than you probably even realize, and as you can see, I love Supergoop and La Roche-Posay. I didn't realize either of those were FSA eligible until now. FSA Store has over 2,500 items that are all FSA eligible, and you can use your FSA card right at checkout. No need to submit receipts. They even have diagnostic smart rings. Those are everywhere right now. I love mine. I recommend you check out the site for one of those too. Also, FSA Store sent some band-aids too, and use those pre-tax dollars on daily needs like allergy meds, sunscreen, prescription eyewear, etc. So just go to fsastore.com/AlexandraB or scan the QR code on screen to shop today. And thank you to FSA Store, where everything is FSA eligible, for sponsoring today's video. And now we're going to ride right into the next project, and don't worry, I'm going to show you guys the afters with even more progress than you see in these clips at the very end. So stay tuned for that, because I want to really have a good before and after for you in the bathroom and all the other rooms. So let's get started with the befores in the kitchen. And today I wanted to focus on the cabinets we use the most often. So that is the tumblers, the silverware, the kids drawer, the medicine drawer. All of these are full of clutter. You guys, look at that clip. A lot of clutter. So let's get to work here with the tumblers. And I open this every morning when I make my coffee, get my water for the day, and it really sets the tone for the day. If this is a mess, I feel like the whole day is a mess, and I feel like I'm not in a good mood, honestly. So think about that as a real motivator when you guys are working on your own projects. It will set the tone for the day when you wake up in a clean and organized, refreshed home. So I'm going to start pulling everything off of this first section here, and I get rid of a lot of things, honestly, so many lids that we didn't even have a tumbler for. And then I'm going to reorganize all of our packets in this Lazy Susan. And oh my goodness, you guys, this to me is so satisfying, truly. And we are making progress already, you guys. The Lazy Susans all organized with water flavors, straws, all the mix-ins and whatnot. I have my coffee syrup, my coffee cups, the tumblers going back in, and then every tumbler I do put in, I'm making sure I have a lid for it as I go. That's how I found so many extras. I also have so many organizers from Amazon and Walmart and whatnot, so if you guys are in need of any of those, I will make sure they're in the description box for you. Cannot live without all of these, truly. Even found some more in the dishwasher. I just wanted to make sure that as I was, storing everything away, that I had room for everything that we actually have. And then again, adding those lids on the water bottles before I put them up on the shelves. We're moving and grooving, guys. We're on to the next cabinet. So this is the kitty cabinet. I found some of those holiday cookie things. We do not need those. I honestly got rid of probably almost half of the items in this drawer. So many things just needed to go. We're either very, very worn out or we just don't really need them anymore. For example, these snack cups. I think I had 6 or 8. I kept 1 or 2 because I rarely use those anymore with a 6-year-old. They're pretty small, but for sauces and lunches and whatnot, I do like to use them occasionally. And then I found a lot of just like random pieces of water bottles and tumblers where we don't even have the other piece anymore. So as you can see, a lot of clutter. And then once the clutter was cleared, I looked at these and was like, wow, they need a good rinse, they need a good scrub. So we're going to do that here before we put everything back in, but it's all going to be wiped down and nice and clean and as perfect as it can be before a single item goes back in that drawer. So if I have any moms here, which of course I know I do, I'll give you guys a better view of this kitty drawer in just a minute, but I have a lot of rectangle style organizers and then a Lazy Susan, which I guess I don't really need a Lazy Susan in here, but honestly, I love them. As you can probably tell from the last cabinet where since that one is higher up, it makes a lot of sense. Here, since we have a bird's eye view, it's more so just for all of the smaller compartments. So I started with all of the drinking cups in the middle, and then I realized I needed extra room. So I'm going to transition all of those to the left side where the rectangles are a little bit larger, and then the lids I'll put in the Lazy Susan. I used to put like the medicine cups and the straws and whatnot in Lazy Susan, so it was like even more handy before I transitioned those into the silverware drawer, but I still like to have it in here. So I'm gonna leave the center open for the lunchbox items, which honestly I just threw away 2 that were broken, so I'm gonna get some new ones, but I know that I have room to grow in here, which I always recommend when you organize anything, because girl, believe me, you will fill it. So I kept actually like half the lids that I really needed just because I never used them, and now I'm gonna move on to the silverware drawer and doing it right, guys. Taking out the liner, wiping everything down, emptying all the silverware out of the compartments here, washing that. But I'm going to do this in a second phase because I just found it a little overwhelming having absolutely everything out at the same time. Sometimes I find it a little easier to work in stages, and then I was just showing you that big bag. I'm filling that with all the items I'm getting rid of, and by the end of this it was, I would say, like 3/4 of the way full, and it's a really, really big bag, so we definitely got rid of a lot of stuff. Okay, so now I'm breaking out the museum wax. If you haven't heard of this, it's essentially like a putty that people use for a lot of different things around their home. Obviously here I'm going to use it for an organization project, but sometimes people will use it to keep their artwork in place. If you have a picture on the counter and it keeps slipping, you can put some of this museum wax under it to keep it in place. There's a lot of like random ideas and ways to use this, but essentially I would say home decor and home organization are the most popular ways. So after all of these organizers are completely washed and dried, I'm going to use them in between the cabinet and the organizer to hold them in place. I've tried to keep these in place a few different ways. I put this museum wax on the bottom, but since these have a lip, it didn't hold great. I've used some other sticky items that still have the residue on these, which that's why the residue side is on the door of the cabinet side. But all in all, I feel like this is the best way to do it. A pretty good size of this museum wax, roll it into a ball, put it on the front of the organizer, stick it to the drawer, and that way these organizers are going to stay in place, because once they slide forward, then the liner slides forward, and girl, everything looks like a disorganized mess. We want it to look perfect. We want it to stay organized. So I have a feeling this is going to help me do that. We have another drawer completed. So after this one, I'm going to take you guys through one more full project here, then a couple satisfying before and afters before we move into our final project, which is my closet. And girl, you already know it is a disaster, but the after is as perfect as I want it to be. I'm real happy about that. So we're going to work on the medicine cabinet here, and you can see it's just a bunch of stuff thrown in here. The amount of stuff that was expired, I do show you guys like the whole haul of it. It is a lot. So I'm just going through each section and category here, going through all of the labels, trying to separate the kid stuff from the adult stuff. I always try and put all of the kid stuff on one shelf or in one container. Hopefully that will help some of you out. It's a little less confusing in the middle of the night having everything completely separated. So definitely a tip I encourage everyone to do if you're able. And would you just look at this, guys? This is all of our expired stuff that was just sitting in there. This has to be, some of them are small, so it's hard to tell, but at least 20 different items that were sitting in there expired. That's a lot of space. It's a lot of real estate to finally get all nice and cleared up. And I'm so glad to get rid of that. So here's some satisfying before and afters for you. Very full of clutter and such disarray, I'm gonna say, as the before. The after is super satisfying. Everything is nice and organized. Another one for you here. I'm gonna do it real quick. I wiped everything down, washed all these organizers, put everything back in one by one. This was a little bit dusty, which is so gross, but I'm so glad it's all nice and clean now. So the chaos you are looking at is the before of my closet. That first shot was definitely the worst with all of this stuff on the floor. Essentially, my swimsuit drawer exploded. It's too full, and all of those items ended up everywhere. Then my workout drawers were too full. Girl, we just have some chaos we have to deal with. So I'm going to start by putting all of my swimsuits in this basket. That will give me almost twice as much room, and it will help to solve a lot of problems I'm very obviously having over here. We have one problem solved. Now let's move on to the next. And now that I have an extra open drawer over here, I'm going to split workout tops into the top and then the romper onesie sets into the bottom. I used to have those in the same drawer, and that also started a lot of overflow and spilling out onto the ground. So now that those two items have their own space, hopefully it will stay nice and clean over here. The ground will stay free of stuff a little while longer. And if you're wondering, where's the garbage bags? Where's the getting rid of stuff? Don't you worry, we make up for it. In here, we get rid of quite a few things, and I will tell you, it was much easier than I thought. I think I could purge even more, so I could do a part 2 if you're interested in that. Just let me know by liking the video or commenting down below. Almost done over here in this section, guys. We're gonna flip to the other side, but I've got the workout stuff sectioned out pretty well, so I'm very happy about that. So I have a handful of shirts to declutter and donate, and then I saw this set and I was like, should I keep it? And then I thought, no, I shouldn't. I haven't worn it in a year and I forgot about it, so somebody else should wear it. So think about things like that. If you have not worn something in 1 year, that is such an easy rule to get rid of. Of course, we all have those special items we're going to hold on to for several years, not wear, and we just want to keep it. That's fine. But if it's just an everyday item, it can go, girl. It can go. Let it go. One bag was filled almost instantly, so let's move on to number 2. And you can see at this point, I'm just grabbing handfuls of stuff to get rid of and donate and put in these bags. It gets easier as you start going. And one of my favorite sayings about decluttering is, if you want to feel lighter, get rid of something. It is so true. Stuff is just, it's something to do. It's something to take care of. So if you're not going to use it, there's no reason to take care of it. Let somebody else take care of it. So use that as a little motivation if you're the kind of person who tends to hold on to quite a few things. I was looking up there because I was looking for shoes to get rid of. Also, I found a home on an empty shelf for that swimsuit bin, getting rid of some sneakers I haven't worn in a long time, and now we're going to get into the afters. So real quick on the kitchen here, because I feel like the closet's the best after, but just want to show you guys that the tumbler drawer is all ready to go. This drawer is looking really good and organized. Not super aesthetic, but hey, it's real life and practical. The silverware is staying where I want it to when I open the drawer. Things are not sliding around. All of the medicine items are looking real good over here. I'm so happy with it because it's a project I've needed to do for the longest time. All the kids stuff still has all that room to grow, of course. I need to get some new lunch items for next year, so I'll tuck those in here. And then if you have name stickers, I always tuck them in the side of the drawer so you know exactly where they are. We're gonna do the bathroom now. So I did put some towels in that basket right there that was empty before. All the kid toys are taken care of. This is still empty. I told you guys, let me know what to put right here if you have any ideas. It doesn't have to be a bowl or a bin, but just let me know. Should I put something there or should I have it empty? thrifty. Skincare all in the same drawer. Skincare devices, nice and organized, so I have the motivation to use those because the drawers looking perfect. Over here is just hair accessories, hair brushes and whatnot. I love those in a Lazy Susan. And then guys, the after of the closet, oh my goodness. And we're gonna end with all the bags of everything I am going to donate in here and show you guys how many there are. So if you enjoyed this decluttering, refresh, home organization video, please give me a like, subscribe to my channel if you're new. I'd love to have you. I have links below for a bunch of organizers, recent videos, and so much more. And I hope you guys enjoyed spending time with me today. So thank you again for watching and being here. I appreciate all of you guys so much. I hope you know that. And I will see you right here in a few days in a brand new video. Bye!